smoked chicken nachos, Smokehouse Wings, Bratwurst Po Boy, and Hickory-Smoked burgers. We're smoking the competition at the spectacular J.W. Marriott Star Pass Resort in Tucson, Arizona. I'm Stephen Raichlen, and this is Project Smoke. Forget the competition on the gridiron. The real game takes place in the parking lot. Tailgating gets a lot more interesting when you fire up your smoker. In the lineup today, smoked chicken nachos, Smokehouse Wings, Bratwurst Po Boys, and Hickory-Smoked burgers with Rauch beer cheese sauce. Game on!
Little nacho practice.
No nacho practice?
They are ready to come off.
Nachos were invented in Mexico, but they're really a classic American snack food. The idea of a smoked nacho came from my friend and former Barbecue University student, Rob Boss, who's actually on the set of Project Smoke helping us with the grills. Rob had the idea to cook nachos in a smoker. It's a brilliant touch. Familiar food gets a totally otherworldly flavor thanks to the addition of wood smoke. Nachos are quintessential tailgating fare. Sure, you can add smoked chicken, and we do, but the real game changer is cooking the nachos in a smoker. Step 1, stir a couple tablespoons of your favorite barbecue sauce and favorite hot sauce into some shredded smoked chicken. Stir to coat the chicken with the sauces. Step 2, arrange tortilla chips in the bottom of a cast iron platter. Now start layering on coarsely grated cheese, and I'm using a combination of smoked cheddar and pepper jack cheese. Then add your smoked chicken, black beans, and jalapeno chilies. The jalapenos will add an electrifying heat. Next, add a second layer of tortilla chips. And I like to use a combination of yellow, red tortilla chips. Always remember you eat with your eyes as well as your palate. More grated pepper jack and smoked cheddar cheese. One more layer of chicken. Black beans, then more jalapenos. This is super colorful. And finally, a last layer of cheese. Now let me show you the smoker. We're using a portable ceramic cooker, and I already loaded it with charcoal. You want to place a couple of wood chunks, I'm using apple, on the fire. This will generate the smoke. And then you place in a heat diffuser plate, sometimes called a convector plate, and the grill grate goes on top. Then place the nachos on the grill and close the lid. Now you want to adjust the bottom and top vent to obtain a temperature of about 275 degrees. So how did nachos get their name? From a Mexican chef named Ignacio Nacho Anaya. One night, so the story goes, some customers came after the restaurant closed. He had the genial idea to melt some cheese and jalapeno chilies over a plate of tortilla chips. The rest, as they say, is history. Fast forward 10 minutes and check out these nachos. The cheese is melted, the chicken is brown. They look amazing. So the last thing you want to do is sprinkle the nachos with finely chopped scallions and chopped fresh cilantro. And to help me try these nachos, Rob Boss, come on in. Rob is one of our fire wranglers, and the idea for smoked chicken nachos was your idea. So let's see how we did. What do you think?
Nailed it.
Yeah? Nice smoke flavor, the chicken. Once again, proof of the ability of wood smoke to take the ordinary and make it extraordinary. Nice work. Buffalo wings are popular tailgating fare. I've always believed that if something tastes good baked or sautéed or deep fried, it probably tastes even better grilled or smoked. I love how wood smoke helps you experience a familiar dish from a new perspective. Case in point, buffalo wings. Big smoke, more flavor, less fat. And to pump up the heat, I electrify the sauce with Sriracha and fresh jalapeno chilies. For chicken wings, I'm using the drumettes. That's the first joint of the wing. And when you're working outdoors, keep the chicken over ice. Season the chicken with coarse sea salt and freshly ground black pepper, ground coriander. You'll see I have a pack rim flavor dynamic happening here, and sesame oil, and finely chopped fresh cilantro. Now stir the wings to coat well with the seasonings. We're using organic chicken wings. Remember, where your food comes from and how it was raised matters as much as how you smoke it. Once the wings are coated with the seasoning, cover with plastic wrap and marinate in the refrigerator for 1 hour. I'm using a digital electric smoker. It's fueled with these hardwood sawdust discs, cherry today, and you simply insert the disc in the chute. It comes down through the hopper where it's burned on an electric heating plate, and the spent discs fall into a bowl of water. The water serves two purposes. It also keeps the smoking environment humid, which will keep your wings nice and moist. Here are the chicken wings after 1 hour of marinating. Nice nutty aroma from the sesame oil. So arrange the wings on the smoker rack with the skin side up. It's very important to have the skin side up. The melting fat from the skin will baste the wings as they smoke. Buffalo wings were invented at the Anchor Bar in Buffalo, New York in 1953. Okay, and I'll put the wings in the smoker. Cooking time, 1 hour. And look at these wings. Beautiful golden color, great smoky aroma. Let them rest for a minute. Meanwhile, I'll melt the butter for the sauce. Arrange your chicken wings on a platter. Once the butter has melted, add the jalapeno chilies and chopped fresh cilantro. Sauté these ingredients until the chilies are golden brown. For the original buffalo wings, the sauce was melted butter and hot sauce. Once the jalapenos begin to brown, add Sriracha, that is a Thai hot sauce. I like things really spicy, so I'm going to add a lot. And stir the sauce into the jalapenos. This sauce has some firepower. Wow, that's gorgeous. Finally, sprinkle the wings with chopped toasted peanuts. I give you buffalo wings, Raichlen style. Let's see how we did. Oh man, they sure are moist and tender and really nice heat in that sauce. If you like your wings hot and smoky, this is your ticket.
We're making smoked bratwurst today for our tailgating party. Sauerkraut, we're gonna smoke it.
No, we don't have a coals. So you can rest on one?
Super smoky bratwurst.
Okay, so we're gonna do a top-down burn.
Yeah, it's up to you.
What's a top-down burn? When you put live coals above unlit coals, and the fire actually burns down. It burns more slowly, so you get a 3 or 4 hour burn. Indulge me in a little myth busting. The best way to cook bratwurst is not the traditional grilling. Rather, it's smoke roasting. Smoke gives the brats an incomparable flavor with zero, I repeat zero, loss of juiciness. Best of all, it eliminates the risk of a grill fire. Step number 1, lightly brush the outsides of the bratwurst with extra virgin olive oil. This will help crisp the casings. And you know the origin of the word bratwurst. It comes from the German Wurst, meaning sausage, and braten, meaning to roast or grill. So it's a grilling sausage. I'll just turn these over so I can brush the other side. Now arrange the bratwurst on the grate, leaving about 1 finger between each bratwurst. Let me show you the grill. I'm cooking the bratwurst on an upright barrel smoker, sometimes called a drum smoker. I filled the coal pan with unlit charcoal and then added a half of chimney of lit charcoal on top. Take a look at this charcoal. It has mesquite chips embedded right in the charcoal. And if you want to boost the smoke flavor, you can toss some wood chunks directly on the coals. Place the bratwurst in the smoker and place the lid on top. This burns at about 275 degrees. Cook time will be about 1 hour. While the bratwurst smoke, first heat and smoke the sauerkraut, and next cut an onion in quarters. Then skewer the onions. Brush the onions with melted butter. And season them with salt and freshly ground black pepper. Now place the onions on the grill. Finally, butter the insides of your rolls. Remember, perfection lies in the details. Finally, place the bread on the grate to toast it. These upright barrel smokers always work best covered. And when the bread is toasted, we'll take the buns off. I'm going to turn the onions. Good. And I'll just stir this sauerkraut. Now, the bratwurst should be ready, and wow, look how nice they look. Beautifully bronzed with smoke. And the way you check for doneness, you take an instant read meat thermometer and you insert it through the end of the bratwurst. You're looking for at least 165 degrees. Bingo. So take the bratwurst off the fire. They are handsomely bronzed with smoke, and you can see there's a nice snap to the casing. Next, take out your smoke-roasted sauerkraut, and finally, the grilled onion. Now let me show you something really interesting. If you cut the brat in half, you'll actually see a smoke ring just under the surface of the bratwurst. How cool is that? And let me put one of these bratwursts together for you. We'll start with a brat, and then some sauerkraut, and a couple of pieces of grilled onion. And finally, no Bratwurst Po Boy is complete without mustard. I like horseradish mustard. Smoke, fire, sauerkraut, mustard, onion. Now that's what I call a bratwurst. The great American hamburger, a tailgating staple. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to smoke the burger, and once it absorbs the smoke flavor, then I direct grill it as you would a conventional hamburger. I promise you, you'll never taste a hamburger like it. Burgers are a tailgating favorite, of course, but it's surprisingly hard to cook them in a smoker. The low, slow smoking robs them of all their juiciness. I have a solution. Cold smoke the burgers first, then grill them over blazing hickory. Your burgers can only be as good as the beef you start with. I'm using small farm grass-fed beef with a fat content of about 18%. That gives you the luscious mouthfeel you want in a burger without being overly fatty. Form the ground beef into patties, handling it as little as possible. Don't handle your burger too much or you'll melt the fat with the heat of your hands. Let the fire do that. By the way, my favorite burger mixture is equal parts ground sirloin and ground chuck. The chuck for robustness, the sirloin for finesse. The idea is to have 6 patties, all the same size. Notice I covered the cutting board with plastic wrap. It keeps the burgers from sticking and it keeps the board clean. Next, brush the tops of the burgers with extra virgin olive oil. This will help keep them from sticking and apply a subtle extra layer of flavor. Then season each burger with coarse sea salt and freshly ground black pepper. Here at Project Smoke, we grind our peppercorns fresh in a spice mill every morning. It's a lot easier taking a pinch than reaching for a pepper mill. Turn them over. And brush the other side with oil and season with salt and pepper the same way. Finally, arrange the burgers on a wire rack over a pan of ice. This is essential for cold smoking. Now, this is an offset smoker. The configuration is a little different than the smokers that have a firebox on the side. In this smoker, the smoke chamber is located in the back, and the fire chamber is located in the front. I built a nice bed of embers and added a hickory log. I'll just place another chimney full of coals on the top. Close the fire chamber and put the burgers on their pan of ice in the smoke chamber. So just to review what's happening here, heat source in the bottom, log on top, smoke generated. You control the smoke flow and the heat with this damper. Open it wider for more smoke, more heat. Close it down for less smoke, less heat. Finally, you can also control the airflow and the smoke by opening or closing the vents on the front of the firebox and on the top of the smoke chamber. Remember the cardinal rule: more air, hotter fire; less air, cooler fire. So we'll smoke the burgers for about 1 hour. Let me show you the smoked beer cheese sauce. So start by rubbing the inside of a pot with a piece of cut garlic. This will infuse a garlic flavor into the cheese sauce. Add 1 cup of smoked beer. Rauchbier would be the German name. It is a beer that is made with barley that is dried in a smoker. There are many smoked beverages in the world. One of the most famous is made by smoking barley, distilling it, aging it in casks, and turning it into, yes, Scotch whiskey. Bring the smoked beer to a boil and sprinkle flour over the cheese. I'm using grated smoked cheddar cheese. And you want to just toss the cheese with the flour. And once the beer boils, shake the floured cheese into the boiling beer. And bring this mixture to a boil. The cheese will melt and the flour will thicken the sauce. Last of all, whisk in a tablespoon of Dijon or Dusseldorf mustard. Just take a taste. That smoked beer flavor really comes through. Now let me check on the burgers. Okay, and you can see the burgers are beautifully bronzed with smoke, and yet they're still cool to the touch. So, take the ice pan off. I installed the grilling grate in the firebox, and then just put the smoked burgers on the grate. While you're at it, grill some buttered brioche hamburger buns. Remember, keep an eye on the buns. They'll cook much more quickly than the burgers. We'll take the buns off. So the burgers look done, they're beautiful, crusty. We'll take off the burgers. Let me show you how these go together. Bottom bun, then a piece of lettuce to keep the bun from getting soggy. Next, a burger. And a generous ladleful of that smoked beer cheese sauce. A slice of tomato, a pickle, and the top bun. Just sort of press that down. Man, that is a burger. You get the beer, you get the smoke, the cheese, tomato, all of it perfumed with hickory-smoked. So that's our tailgating show, folks. Smoked nachos, Smokehouse Wings, Bratwurst Po Boys, and hickory-smoked burgers. Now you know how to smoke the competition.
Okay, rolling. Quiet, please. Here we go. Action. Action.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about something else.
You know, we're here in Tucson, Arizona.
I don't have a lot of time right now, so I just want to fast fire fast.
Where'd you go, Rob?
Rob.
Go eat some chips.
Yeah.
Want to do that again?
Hmm?